Hello and good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. Welcome to 11 a.m. Talks with Angel Charmaine. For those of you who come into this space on a regular basis, you already know what it is. So come on through. Come on through and come kick it with me on today. If you are in the building, y'all already know how we do and what we do in this space. If you are brand spanking new into the room, my name is Angel Charmaine Wright, also known as Angel Charmaine, and I come into this space at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to share nuggets of wisdom to help you to live what you say you believe and to live authentically as who you were created to be before you were even formed and planted in your mother's womb. So, I am an authenticity coach. I work with women who are sick and tired of showing up pretentiously. They are tired of showing up as someone other than themselves. They are tired of shrinking. They are tired of it and they are ready to stand in the truth of who God created them to be in their fullness. And that could be if you're someone who is in a place where you don't show up fully because you have not accepted where you are in terms of your body image. Like that's an issue because it will cause you to be fake and phony, right? If you are someone who has not embraced the way you just naturally look and you feel some kind of way about that, listen, that will have you showing up fake and phony. If you are someone who's not comfortable, confident in your competence and your area of expertise, listen, that will have you showing up fake and phony. I'm just saying. There are some of you who say that you are believers and followers of the way, but when it comes to your lifestyle, you show up fake and phony. And so, because of that, you find it very difficult to connect to the people you're supposed to connect to and do the things that you know you're supposed to do. Why? Because you are not showing up as your authentic self. So, what I do is work with women who find themselves in that place, right? And the truth is that so many of us will sit and tell that story like, oh, I know who I am. I feel comfortable in my skin. And knowing that you just telling bold-faced lies. I laugh it off because I remember being that person. I remember being that woman. I remember showing up in one way, but knowing in my heart, in my quiet time, in my alone time, in my time with myself, that I was not genuinely who I was presenting myself to be in front of everybody else. But baby, that's not me anymore. But I will say that even in this place, there are still times where I have to remind myself, right, to stand in authenticity and to own who I've been called and created to be. So that is what I do as an authenticity coach. For those of you who do not know me, if you're catching this on the replay, hashtag replay, let me know you got an opportunity to kick it with us today. Just gonna do some housekeeping here. I do have conversations with you all. I am also an inspirational conversationalist. I am not a motivational speaker, although people like to categorize me as that. I am an inspirational conversationalist. I believe in encouraging and inspiring people to be their best and their fullest selves by having healthy, hearty, honest conversations. So I welcome you to put your comments in the chat. If you have questions, feel free to ask them. There are no silly questions in this space. If you have questions, ask them, put them in the chat. If you have comments, put them in the chat. I do believe that if we are going to be a part of this social media arena, that we should learn to use it properly and understand what we're doing in the space. So, one, commenting is important. If you're going to watch this live, if I am bringing any kind of value to you, if I'm adding to your life, I ask that you will add to my comment section and comment. If you want to leave emojis, if you want to leave gifts like GIFs, right? If you want to leave comments, I ask that you do that. It helps my live to be more visible. So I ask that if you're going to be in this place, one, that you not stay on the outside and lurk, but click on the video, open it up, and join the conversation. I also ask that if you're going to sit here and you're going to kick it with us, that you will use those reactions, right? Click the thumbs up, click the hearts. If it makes you sad, click the sad. If it makes you angry, click the angry button, whatever. But and these are just housekeeping for those of you who are going to participate in this conversation. This is how you engage. You comment, you react, and if it's really good and you're like, this is some good information and I think other people should hear it, then I welcome you to click the share button and share it into other spaces, or tag some specific people into the conversation, like tag them in the comments and let them know, hey, this is a good conversation. I think that you would enjoy it or benefit from it. So these are the three things that I invite you to do if you're going to stay in this place with me today and be a part of this conversation. One, make sure you're reacting. Two, make sure you're commenting. And three, please share this conversation and or tag others in the conversation. I think that is easy to do. Some really easy things to ask. If you are watching me right now, please let me know from where you are watching, what city, state you're watching in, and say hello. I'm a country girl. I'm a Georgia Lina girl. My mama people from Georgia, my daddy people from Carolina, and my grandmama used to say, if I ain't sleep with you last night, little girl, when you come into the room, say good morning. I ain't sleep with none of y'all last night. So if you're watching me, if you're in this room, then give me a hello. How you doing? Hey girl. Hey, good morning. Whatever your greeting of choice is, please make sure you drop that in the chat. All right. So I am going to give you all a little bit of time to see, or give others a little bit of time to see that I am here. Today, we're going to be talking about the importance of agreement. Okay. Today, we're going to be diving into a powerful topic, and that topic is the importance of agreement and commitment. And we're not going to be talking about just the importance of agreement and commitment to others, but also to ourselves. So, this is going to be a really, really strong live that we are going to have today. We're going to have a really robust conversation today. And so, I welcome you to come on in and to chop it up with me and the community today. So, come on in. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. So if you are in the room, if you are watching, again, I ask that you say something. Please don't lurk. Lurking is not friendly. It's not being a good it's not being a good social media friend. So make sure that you come on in. I am going to take a moment to share the conversation out on the Speak Up Sis page. So if y'all would just give me just a moment. If you are watching on the Speak Up Sis YouTube platform, thank you so much. I'm going to send you lots of love. Make sure that you click subscribe on YouTube and hit the notification bell so that you're alerted to when we have new content on the channel. If you're watching on Facebook, big hearts to you as well. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you are catching this on LinkedIn, I'm going to send you all lots and lots of love today as well. So I appreciate you all for coming into this space. Okay, so hold on a second. Choo, choo, choo. Okay. All right. Excuse me. I'm gonna have to get up and get some water. Y'all, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. Good morning, good morning. Hello, hello, Dr. Latoya. Thank you so much for coming in and speaking. Sis, I appreciate you. I'm still working on the people, sis. I'm still working on people understanding the importance of coming into the space and actually engaging with the content, right? Is definitely important. And I know everyone doesn't understand the importance, but I'm going to continue. I'm going to continue sharing with people the importance of engaging with the content. So thank you for coming in. I am sharing this live out right now and inviting some other people into the space to have this conversation with us today. It's going to be a good one. We're going to be talking about the importance of agreement and commitment. The importance of agreement and commitment. So this is going to be a really, really good conversation, really robust. I think I think there are some people who, who are going to need to hear what is said. I know prayerfully it will encourage you all to do some things and also to prevent you all from doing some things. So that's what we're going to be getting into today. I welcome you to come on into the space and kick it with me. Again, I'm going to give you all the housekeeping. If you are watching this on replay, you can totally fast forward through all of this so that you can get to the meat of the conversation today. But whenever you are joining live, it takes a minute for us to really get started so that people can come into the room and see that we are here. So if you're watching this on the replay, thank you so much. You can hashtag replay and then fast forward so that you can get to the meat. If you are watching this live, again, my name is Angel Wright, also known as Angel Charmaine. I am the owner and founder of Speak Up Sis LLC. I'm also an authenticity coach and inspirational conversationalist. I show up in this space at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday, in order to share nuggets of wisdom, advice, good suggestions, just some good stuff to help you live a fuller, authentic life so that you can live what it is that you say you believe, right? And you can walk in this world as who you were created to be before you even formed in your mother's womb. That is what I do here at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. And I welcome you to join me each day. The housekeeping, here are the rules once again. Housekeeping rules. If you're going to participate, if you find this a valuable space, if you learn in this space, if you're like, yes, I absolutely love coming here, I always learn something, I always leave encouraged, inspired, convicted, sometimes corrected, sometimes edified, all the time, then I ask you to share the live or at least tag other people into the live to let them know that this is a good space. I ask that you will react to the video, that is liking, loving, hearting, all the things. And I ask that you will comment in the comment section. All of those different types of engagement help my live. It helps to bring visibility to the live. If you are on YouTube, please make sure that you click like and make sure that you have subscribed to the Speak Up Sis YouTube channel if you have not already done that. Okay. All right. And so I am almost done. Almost done with my sharing for the day. So we're going to go ahead and get started. This is a quiet place in here today. I don't know what's going on. It's Tuesday, but it is very quiet in the room today. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. We've already been here for 15 minutes, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. And if you all come on in while I'm talking, then come on in. So today we're going to look at two powerful stories from the book of Judges. I have been, since the beginning of the new year, I have been reading through the Bible. I'm going to read through the Bible in a year. I've done this a few times already, but I'm going to tell you, every single time that I read through the Bible, it's like I see new things. I get new understanding. There are stories that I'll read. I'm like, golly, I know I read this before, but I don't remember reading it. I don't even remember seeing this, right? And so right now I am in the book of Judges, y'all. And just let me say, oh my goodness. Hello, Deborah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming in today. And I appreciate you for speaking. Deborah said she just realized what time it was. Yes. We are at 11:18 today. Thank you so much for speaking to everyone in the room, Deborah. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. So I have been reading through the Bible every morning. I'm reading through. By the end of the year, I will have read the entire thing again. But I'm in the book of Judges right now. And yesterday, my reading for yesterday really kind of sparked something in my thinking. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I want to share it with you all today. I want to share just some understanding that I received on yesterday. And maybe it was a bit of a reminder. It's not that it's something new that I didn't know, but I believe it's something that's not always at the top of mind for us. And that is the importance of agreement and the importance of commitment. Okay. So we're going to look at two powerful stories from the book of Judges today to understand how serious agreements are and why we must not enter them carelessly. Okay. And I'm talking whether you're making a commitment to God or whether you are promising to do something for someone else. Maybe you are making a vow, or a commitment to yourself. It is important that we are intentional in honoring our word with the agreements and the commitments that we enter into. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Before we get started, I have got to ask, is there anyone who's watching who's ever like maybe something's going on in your life and you're like, okay, God, if you allow this to happen, like I'll never do ABC again if you do this. Like if you do this, then I will do this. Have you ever done that before? If you're watching me right now and you have been in that place before, then please let me know. Drop it in the comments. Let me know if you've ever done that before. What'd you say, Marcus? That should be everybody. My brother said that should be everybody. He said that should be everybody. Oh, I don't see any. I guess that's nobody, Marcus. They watching, but they ain't talking today. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. They're watching, but they ain't talking today. Well, I'm going to say that I have absolutely been in situations before. I can honestly say that I have been in situations before with, when I'm like, okay, Lord, if you will do, Lord, please get me through this. If you get me through this, I won't. Or, Lord, I will do this. And not just that, if you say, okay, I've never done that with God, have you ever told someone, like, listen, if you do this, then I'm gonna make sure that I make sure that I do this for you, or I'm gonna make sure that, and you didn't do it. And you didn't do it. Not just then, and not just with God, right? Have you ever agreed to do something? You ever gave your word to do something and you didn't do it? You didn't follow through with it. Okay, I get. Okay, so Deborah says in the past, but I know now it doesn't work that way. Okay, but here's the thing, Deborah. It absolutely can work that way. You can absolutely ask God for something and enter into an agreement with Him, and He makes that thing happen. The expectation that you will honor your part is absolutely a real thing. It is absolutely a real thing. That is not what the Lord wants. He don't want us trying to bargain with Him. But if you do, it's important that we understand that that is a serious thing. So, again, if you are just joining, today we're talking about the importance of agreement. And the question that I'm asking you all before we jump into these things, I'm gonna share with you three major things that I think are very important for us as we talk about the importance of agreement and commitment. One, I want you to think about: has there ever been a time where you try to come into an agreement with God about something? Lord, if you would just protect my son, I will do. Or Lord, if you will just make sure that this bill is paid, Lord, I will do. Okay? Or maybe you were talking to some friends or a friend and you were like, sis, let me tell you, if you help me out with this situation, you're not gonna have to worry about ABC. Or you know what, mama, oh my goodness, if you would just do this for me, Lord, this ABC. Or maybe it's you. Maybe you say, you know what, I am going to commit to I'm not gonna eat any sweets for the next 20 days. And right, you make a commitment to yourself. So my question is, have you ever made a commitment to the Lord, to other people, or to yourself that you did not keep? That you did not keep. And my brother said we all should be raising our hand for that one. Hello, Armanda. Thank you so much for joining today, and thank you for tagging some other people in the conversation. The reason I asked that question is because I want to bring us all together into a common place. Because this is not a place of judgment. This is none of that. It is a place of learning and getting some wisdom to know that we must take agreements, covenants, commitments seriously. And so the first point that I want to make today is that agreements are binding. Agreements are binding. And so we must be careful what we commit to. We must be careful what we commit to. So I want to take you all to Judges, the book of Judges in the Bible, chapter 11. I told y'all I've been reading through the Bible every day because I'm going to read through the Bible in a year this year. I've done it before. I try to do it as often as I have a desire to do. Hopefully I'll get to doing this every year, because what I have learned is that every time I sit down to read this Bible, um, even though I've read it before, I've learned something new, or the Lord gives me a new understanding, or excuse me, not even a new understanding, but a more robust understanding of it. Right? He gives me a fuller understanding, more knowledge and wisdom about what it is that I'm reading. So the book of Judges, chapter 11, verses 30 through 40. I'm going to read it to you, but just to kind of give you a summary, or to paraphrase it, there is a judge. Good morning, Dana. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us today. So there is a judge by the name of Jephthah. And Jephthah was one of Gideon's sons. And something else I learned, this is just a sidebar, but Jephthah was Gideon's son from a prostitute, which is interesting. And I'm going to tell y'all, I actually wrote this down in my notes because I'm going to study this out at some point. This is just a sidebar, y'all. Sidebar. This is me in my study time. I wrote down in my study time, what is it about prostitutes and barren women that the Lord uses them mightily or uses their children mightily? I thought about that. When I was reading about Jephthah, the judge, like Gideon had all these children, but the child that he had with a prostitute is the child that God chose to raise up as a judge for Israel. And in that moment I thought about Rahab, and I thought about Jephthah, and then I thought about the barren women whose children grow up, like Hannah's child, like, you know what I'm saying? Elizabeth's son, John, John the Baptist. And so I wrote down, what is it about prostitutes and barren women that the Lord uses them mightily or uses their children mightily? So I'm going to study that out. But anyway, that was just a sidebar. So this particular story that I'm going to share with y'all today, Jephthah was a son of Gideon, and he was a judge of Israel. He made a vow to God before going into battle. And he said, if you give the Ammonites into my hands, whatever comes out of the door of my house to meet me when I return in triumph will be the Lord's, and I will sacrifice it as a burnt offering. Okay, this is what Jephthah said. This is the vow that he made to God. So, of course, he won the battle. So God upheld his end of the agreement or this vow. But when Jephthah returned home, the first thing that came out of his house was his only daughter. So because of his vow, he was bound to it, and the rest was heartbreaking. Now, I'm going to interject some outside commentary. So I read some outside, because I'm reading this during my study time in the morning. So I read some commentary about this. And so there are some different commentators who have some different opinions about whether or not he actually offered his daughter up as a burnt sacrifice. And many of them say that he didn't actually do that, right? But because during that time, child, and I want to watch my words on social media, because they will like give me strikes on my account. But it was against God's law to offer up children like that, like Moloch, right? Where they would offer up babies and stuff like that. Well, that was against the law of God for his children. So what they would do when they would sacrifice like their children or give their children to the Lord, they would actually enter into service for the Lord. And so either way, because what we find is that the daughter, she's like, Dad, and I'm paraphrasing, Dad, do what you have to do. I know you made this vow to the Lord, and so I'll do what I have to do. And so she and some of her maiden friends, they go off and they mourn her virginity, because that means if she's going to go into she's going to be going into the temple to serve the Lord for the rest of her life, which is something that widows did and older women. That means that she now is going to be going into a place where she's never going to get married. She's never going to have children. He pretty much vowed her life to God. Either way, it was a careless agreement that he entered into. That's not something God asked him to do. God didn't ask him to make that type of agreement or covenant or vow with him, but he chose to do it. he chose to do it. For those of you who are wanting, if you want to read this, story on your own, it is in the book of Judges, chapter 11, verses 30 through 40. So you can read that on your in your own time. But I want to say to you all that agreements are binding. And a lot of times we carelessly, haphazardly, even foolishly enter into agreements that we don't like. You don't really mean it. It's just like you just want people to know that you're serious about what you're saying, but you don't realize that agreements and commitments are binding. And so you should be very careful when you commit. So, what should we learn about this story with Jephthah, the Lord, and his daughter? One, we should be mindful of what we agree to, especially in the heat of emotion. You should, like, sometimes we be like, ooh, I swear. Have you ever said that? Ooh, like I hear young people say it all the time. Oh, my mama. I hear people say that. Oh, my mama, if you do, right? That is that is an oath. That's a swear that you are making. That's an agreement that you're coming into. And some of these agreements are with the enemy, because if you're agreeing to hurt somebody, baby, that's not no agreement you making with the Lord. That's an agreement you making some other kind of way. And that ain't something you want to do. Right? Oh, bet. Oh, y'all know we say it with the clap. Bet. Bet. You say this to me, bet. I'ma do. And so here we go. So then I know the old folks used to say, right, call my bluff. Like, oh, you calling my bluff. So sometimes you say things in the heat of the moment, and then you don't know. You might be dealing with somebody who say, okay, is you calling my bluff? You selling wolf tickets? Do what you say you're going to do. And now you find yourself having to, right, honor, stand up to a commitment that you made. So you want to be mindful of what you agreed to, especially in the heat of emotion. Tamika says guilty. Girl, I think we all are. Right? Another thing that we need to learn from Jephthah's story is that words have weight. So you want to be intentional, right? Be intentional before you speak. One thing I do not like is a fast talking person. Let me tell you. It could be because I'm Southern. I talk slowly. It could be. But for me, people who talk real fast, I feel like you're trying to convince me to do something. You trying to manipulate me. You trying to talk so fast that I can't keep up or something. I don't know. I need you to slow down. I need you to slow down. And so I have had people say to me, I remember I was having this consultation with this lady one time, and she said it in a real joking way. And she was like, something, she said something like, I can tell you from the South because you talk so slow. Like the way she said it, I could tell she was slick trying to throw shade, but it's all good. And you know what? I told her, I said, yeah, I speak slowly because I think about what I'm going to say. I really don't care to talk to fast talking people. And she was a fast talking person. So throw the shade, baby. But hey, I'm a whole willow tree. I could be an oak tree one day. I could be a willow tree the next day. I got shade too. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm telling you is that I am intentional about the words that I'm using. So I speak slowly because I'm thinking about what I'm going to say. And sometimes I want to say something, but when I think about it, I'll be like, oh, I probably shouldn't say that. Like, and because I speak slowly, I'll catch those words before they come out. I'll catch them and be like, ooh. And I'll be like, thank you, Holy Spirit, for not letting me say that. The Lord will bridle my tongue. And I have said that many times, Lord, please bridle my tongue. When I go into this room, I know there are going to be people who are going to try me. Lord, bridle my tongue. So we must understand that words have weight and we must be intentional before we speak. Why? Because agreements are binding. And we want to be careful of what we are committing ourselves to. Right? Another thing that this story teaches us is that once an agreement is made, you're responsible for honoring it. Once you make an agreement, once you make a commitment, once you enter into covenant, whether it's with God, whether it's with other people, or whether it is with yourself, you are responsible for honoring it. Do y'all remember back in the day, like in the 80s and 90s, they used to say word is bond? Word is bond. Huh? What you say? Right. People, it was a shake of a hand or whatever, but people used to say word is bond. And what word is bond? What they were saying is my word is my bond. If I tell you I'm going to do it, you can take that to the bank. I'm going to do it. People used to make commitments, shake of a hand, right? In the biblical times, they would give their signet ring. And, you know, we learned this when it comes to, I want to say it was, whose daddy was it? Hold on a second. Was it Jacob? It's gonna come to me in a minute. But one of them was one of those forefathers was supposed to give his son passed away. He had a daughter, which was his daughter-in-law, and he was supposed to give his daughter-in-law to one of his sons. And when that child got of age, he didn't do it. And so she tricked him to lay down with him to take away her reproach, right? And to get a child and to call him out on the oath that he broke. He left his signet ring with her. And so when she stood and when they said, you know, who the baby daddy, she said, the person who this belongs to, because he gave her that as a promise that he was going to come back. You feel what I'm saying? So your word is your bond. Whenever you enter into agreement, then you are responsible for honoring your part of the agreement. We also learn with this situation with Jephthah is that sometimes our careless commitments lead to consequences that we never intended. Sometimes your loose lips will lead you into a situation, right, where the consequence you weren't even thinking. I can almost bet that when Jephthah was like, Lord, like, just if you would just give this nation into our hands, like, you know, he was probably thinking the first animal, right? I'm sure, because he's talking about offering it as a burnt sacrifice. So I'm sure he probably was thinking like a goat or, you know, ox or something. He was thinking of an animal. I know in his careless vow that he made to God, he was not thinking his daughter would come out. So here there's this unintended consequence for the agreement, for the commitment that he entered into carelessly. Now, I want to sidebar here and say this. This tells us a lot about the heart of Jephthah, because what we also know is that all he really had to do was fall on his face to the Lord, repent, ask for forgiveness, and say, Lord, this was a foolish thing that I did. And the Lord would have honored that. There's no way that, you know, the Lord, he honors those things. All he had to do was ask for forgiveness, right? And fall on his face before the Lord. He could have done that. But this tells you the heart of this man. He said, no, it's a commitment that I made to the Lord. Not only that, his daughter, see, I want to go to the scripture because some of y'all ain't going to go back and read it. Some of y'all ain't going to go back and read it. In the book, in Judges chapter 11, starting at verse 30. The scripture says, and Jephthah made a vow to the Lord and said, if you will indeed deliver the people of Ammon into my hands, then it will be that whatever comes out of the doors of my house to meet me when I return in peace from the people of Ammon shall surely be the Lord's, and I will offer it up as a burnt sacrifice. Notice he says, whatever comes out of the door. He didn't say whoever, right? I don't believe the man was thinking a human, right? Also, thank you, Holy Spirit. No, not Lot, Tamika. It wasn't Lot. It's not Lot. It's but I'm gonna tell you who it is. I'm gonna find it in just a second. But another thing that I want you all to notice, if you go back up to verse 29, it says, "Then the Spirit of the Lord came upon Jephthah, and he passed through Gilead and Manasseh, and passed through Mizpah of Gilead, and from Mizpah of Gilead he advanced toward the people of Ammon." Notice this: the Lord was already on Jephthah's side. The Lord was already like helping him to overpower these nations. The Lord was already with him. The Spirit of the Lord was already upon him. He was already winning. There was no need for him to make a vow. It was an unnecessary thing for him to say. Not only was it careless, but it was unnecessary. Right? So then I want to jump down to verse 34. When Jephthah came to his house at Mizpah, there was his daughter coming out to meet him with timbrels and dancing, and she was his only child. Besides her, he had neither son nor daughter. And it came to pass when he saw her that he tore his clothes and said, "Alas, my daughter, you have brought me very low. You are among those who trouble me, for I have given my word to the Lord, and I cannot go back on it." If we will only have the heart to be like Jephthah, to say, even though I made a careless commitment, even though I entered into this commitment half-heartedly, Lord, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it. So, listen. So the daughter, so she said to him, "My father, if you have given your word to the Lord, do to me according to what has gone out of your mouth, because the Lord has avenged you of your enemies, the people of Ammon." Then she said to her father, "Let this thing be done for me. Let me alone for 2 months, that I may go and wander on the mountains and bewail my virginity, my friends and I." So even his daughter, think about that. Talk about a house that honors God. The daddy said something he shouldn't have said, and the daughter she says, "Listen, whatever you told God to do, honor it." We need to be those kind of people, and we need to have those kind of people in our lives, right? So the second point that I want to make to you all today, the first one is that agreements are binding. So we want to be very careful what we commit ourselves to. The second thing I want to say to you is that not all agreements are honest. So we must discern before we commit. Not all agreements are honest. So we must discern before we commit. Dare I say, before you agree to do anything, before you enter into agreement, covenant, commitment, vow, whatever, before you do it, you should seek the Lord first to discern whether what you're getting ready to enter into is something that he is leading you to do or not. So the next story that I want to share with you all is the story of Joshua and the Gibeonite. It's a deception of the Gibeonites, right? And so it's in the book of Joshua chapter 9. So the leaders at this time, the leaders of Israel, they made a peace treaty with the Gibeonites because they thought that they were foreigners from a distant land. So this is how this was, like the summary of the story, y'all, in a nutshell. The Lord is with Joshua and the children of Israel, and he is allowing them to overtake all these nations, right? Wherever they go, they win it. They win it. And so five kings from five different nations, they came together and they concocted this deception. And this is what this deception was. They told their people to bring them old food, like old dry bread, stuff that have been sitting out a long time, molded food, and bring them some old raggedy clothes, right? And so they were pretending to be foreigners who had been on this long journey. Okay. So they show up at the Israelite nation and the leaders meet them. They're like, hey, hold up. We don't know y'all. And I'm paraphrasing, okay, with a little bit of oomph. And so they show up, and the leaders of Israel are like, we don't know y'all. Hold up, y'all are foreigners. What do you want here? Who sent you? Like, what y'all want, right? So these five kings who are pretending to be just regular people who've been journeying for a long time. So they get there and they're like, we've been journeying. We're tired. Here, I'm going to go there for you. Listen, these stories be so good, y'all. I be wanting y'all to know the stories because they so good, right? So they meet them and they say, like, we've been traveling a long time. Here, look at our food. It's all dried up. It ain't no good no more. And they look all downtrodden in their clothes. You know what I'm saying? And so, of course, the children of Israel, being good people. See here, I'm gonna take y'all there. It is Joshua, the book of Joshua, chapter 9. It says, and it came to pass when all the kings who were on the side of the Jordan, in the hills and in the lowland, and in all the coasts of the great sea toward Lebanon, heard about it, that they gathered together to fight with Joshua and Israel with one accord. Right. But when the inhabitants of Gibeon heard what Joshua had done to Jericho and Ai, they worked craftily and went and pretended to be ambassadors. And they took old sacks on their donkeys, old wineskins torn and mended, old and patched sandals on their feet, and old garments on themselves. And all the bread of their provision was dry and moldy. And they went to Joshua to the camp at Gilgal and said to him and to the men of Israel, we have come from a far country. Now, therefore, make a covenant with us. Notice now, these are kings. They being sneaky. Then the men of Israel said to the Hivites, perhaps you dwell among us. So how can we make a covenant with you? Notice their initial inclination was, nah. Y'all could be the people that's in this place. I don't know about making no covenants with y'all. So listen, the initial thought, sometimes we have got to stop, think, and that initial thought is often the truth. They were like, hold on a second. So then it says, but they said to Joshua, I noticed the leaders, hold on, let me back up. They said, then the men of Israel said to the Hivites, perhaps you dwell among us. So how can we make a covenant with you? Because God done told them, don't come into agreement with these people. Y'all are supposed to overtake them, right? Then they turned to Joshua. We ain't going to talk to y'all. We don't talk to Joshua. But they said to Joshua, we are servants. And Joshua said to them, who are you and where do you come from? Who are y'all and who sent you? Right? And Joshua said, so they said to him, from a very far country, your servants have come because of the name of the Lord your God, for we have heard of his fame and all that he did in Egypt and all that he did in the two kings of the Amorites who were beyond the Jordan, to Sihon, king of Heshbon, the Og, king of Bashan, who was at Ashtoreth. Therefore, our elders and all the inhabitants of our country spoke to us, saying, take provisions with you for the journey and go to meet them and say to them, we are your servants. Now, therefore, make a covenant with us First thing, they never answered the question. Joshua said, who are you and where you come from? They talking about we come from a far off country. What's the name of the country? What where y'all what like give us something specific, right? Then look what they start doing. Oh, we heard about y'all God. Y'all got to be careful even about these people who always they talking about they praising the Lord and all this stuff. Just because that don't mean nothing. Here they go. We heard about y'all God, and we heard about all the great things he's done. We heard about how he is with you. We heard about what he did to these other kings. And so we're coming on behalf of our nation because we don't want you all to overtake us, right? Oh, they don't stop there though. Now they appeal to the heart of them, right? Here they go. This bread of ours we took hot for our provision from our houses on the day we departed to come to you. But now look, it is dry and moldy. They lying. Y'all hear this? And these wineskins which we filled were new, and see, they are torn. And these our garments and our sandals have become old because of the very long journey. Then the men of Israel took some of their provisions, but they did not ask counsel of the Lord. Do you hear that? So here's Joshua and his leaders. They're listening to these people give this sob story. We know sob stories. I know sob stories. I don't heard how many sob stories that I heard? Too many. Right? We hear the sob story. We look at them. They look worn and tattered and hungry and all the things. But notice what scripture says. They did not ask counsel of the Lord. So Joshua made peace with them and made a covenant with them to let them live. And the rulers of the congregation swore to them. So Joshua and the leaders entered into covenant, and they swore that they would not hurt them. Right? And then 3 days later, it happened at the end of 3 days after they had made a covenant with them that they heard that they were their neighbors who dwelt near them. Then the children of Israel journeyed and came to their cities on the 3rd day. So now they have the Lord done told them, get rid of these people, don't deal with them. But now they have entered into covenant with these people, right? Deborah says, yes, I've heard plenty sob stories. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So what is it that we can learn from this particular story where the Gibeonites deceived Joshua and the leaders of Israel? One, not every opportunity or partnership is from God. Listen, I have had to learn this the hard way. Not every opportunity or partnership is from God. Seek wisdom before committing. Do not enter into covenants with people based on sob stories, based on what things look like or appear to be in front of you. I promise you, whatever you are seeing in front of you can be deceptive. Oftentimes, what you see with your natural eyes is not really what a thing is. That's why it's important for us to seek wisdom of the Lord first, to discern what we're actually hearing. Sometimes those flattering tongues, listen, they got pronged tongues like a snake. Every partnership, every collaboration is not what God wants you to do. Not every opportunity or partnership is from God. So you must seek wisdom before you commit to doing anything. There are people who have come to me about partnering with them. They want Speak Up Sis to partner with them with stuff. And I'll be like, no. When I sit with the Lord, and some things you ain't even some things you ain't even got to sit with. You can look at it, it don't line up. It don't even line up. It don't line up with the word. It don't line up with what God is doing. You can sit and go, okay, Lord, What you want me to do? And he's going to look at you and say, you already know. I done told you in my word. That's not me. So not every opportunity or partnership is from God. Even sometimes we look at people and they look like they need so much help and they look like they're just so distressed. And it's like, oh Lord, I cannot not help these people. Let me tell you, do not let people fool you. Another thing that we can learn from this story is don't enter into agreements blindly. Take the time to discern the full picture. As I was reading it, right, you could hear initially they were like, hold on a second. Like, no, y'all could be our neighbors. Y'all could be close to us, and we're not supposed to be entering into no agreements with y'all. It was their first thought. But they listened to the crafty tongue of the deceivers, right? And even Joshua, he's acting as a leader, and he's like, tell us some more, give us some more information. Like, who are you and where'd you come from? And even in, dare I say that they were focusing more on what they saw than what was being said to them, because he asked them something specific that they did not answer. They never told him the country from where they came. They never told them their names. They never told them the name of the country. They just started going on and on about the God that they serve and how they were scared. And then they said, and dare I say, Joshua and his leaders start looking at the moldy food, the tattered clothes, right? They start looking at this like, oh my goodness, we want to be helpful. Don't enter into agreements blindly. You need to take the time to discern the full picture. Because my question would have been, if y'all traveled that far and this food was hot, why y'all ain't eat it on the way? Why y'all still got all this food? Y'all traveled all this way and y'all ain't eat this food? Why is it cold and moldy by the time y'all get here? What did y'all eat? Because I would think that y'all have been on such a long journey that by the time y'all get to us, you don't have any more food, right, Mama? Mm-hmm. I would think why you got so much food left and why it's so moldy if you traveled a long journey? You know what I'm saying? That don't even make sense. Not only that, but why would you if you're traveling a long journey, why would you still have moldy food in your person? When you went to go eat, you saw it was moldy. When you throw it out? Yeah. When you throw it out? Hey, what's going on, Connie? Welcome into the space. Thank you for speaking. I appreciate you. Sandra Allen. Sandra said, I receive it. Receive it, sis. Thank you for joining us today. Tamika says, I'll be ready to help everyone, especially if it's something I faced before. I don't think it through. Just do it. And we got to stop doing that. And because we are binding ourselves to people and to things and to situations that God never called us to. Not every opportunity or partnership is from God. Listen, not every good opportunity is a God opportunity. Don't enter into agreements blindly. Take the time to discern the full picture. Be okay with asking questions. Let me tell you something. If you want to work with me and you don't want me to ask you no questions, then you don't want to work with me. You don't want to work with me. If I can't ask you no questions, then we don't need to work together. Just because something looks good doesn't mean it is good. We got to be careful about what we're looking at and how we're judging things based on what we look at. We've all seen in the news, like the people who are standing on the corner, and it seems like, they are without shelter and needing. We have all seen, the reports and the news things where folks will put on some raggy stuff and go stand out on the corner and make a whole bunch of money. And they be like, they make more money standing out on the corner than they do going to work an 8-hour job. Sometimes things aren't what they appear to be. So we have to be careful about that. And the last lesson that I want us to focus on from this point of not all agreements are honest, right? is that once you commit, you may be bound to it, even if you later realize that it was a mistake. There are some commitments that we can come out of. There are some you can go, oh, Lord, I thank you. Thank you, Lord. There are some things we agree to that we're going to need to seek the face of the Lord. We're going to need to fast and pray and repent. And we're going to do, you know what I'm saying? We're going to have to be like, Lord, please. Like, it was foolish. I wasn't thinking, like, Lord, help me. He will help you. But then there are some commitments that you may be bound to. So it's just best for you to discern before you enter into it, because not all agreements are for your good, and many of them, right? Not all of them are honest, and there are many that are deceptive. But know that once you commit, you're bound to it, even if you realize the mistake after the fact. The third point that I want to make today, and I think this was a takeaway for me, even more so than the others. This was a huge takeaway for me from both of these stories. And that is, it is imperative that we learn to keep our commitment to ourselves the same way you keep your word to the Lord. The same way you keep your word to other people, keep your commitment to yourself, because your word to you matters. Sit with that for a minute, sis. Ambra. Oftentimes we think, well, I didn't tell nobody else I was going to do that. Right? Well, I didn't tell the Lord I was going to do it, and I didn't tell nobody else. I just told myself. We find it so easy to make commitments to ourselves that we break. But let me tell you, that's a dangerous thing to do. Dare I say, if that you break commitments to yourself, you'll break commitments to everybody else. Because if you don't value your own word to yourself, you ain't valuing nobody else's word. You may say you do, but you're not telling the truth. Scripture says, love God and love others as you love yourself. You can't truly say you love other people when you don't love yourself. You know, and let me say, this is something that I learned. This is something that I learned as I sat with this for myself. There was a time when I would say, you know, that I love other people, but the truth is I didn't fully love myself. And so what I was doing is I was attempting to love people the way I wanted to be loved. That's different. That's not the same. When we are doing for others what we wish we had for ourselves, listen, that is a funky heart's posture to be in, because that is where bitterness and rejection reside. Because if you don't love yourself, or you don't feel loved, but you say, I just love everybody, and what you're actually doing is trying to give other people what you want for yourself. What happens is, if there's no reciprocity in that, you will become bitter. You will become bitter, and a root of bitterness will be planted. A seed of bitterness will be planted that will create roots of bitterness. Same thing with making a commitment to yourself. Many of us, especially people who have dealt with people pleasing, many of us will make commitments to other people because we wish that people would do that with us. Like, I'm gonna go do these things for all these people because that's what I would want people to do for me. Although it's not happening for me like that, although people don't keep their commitments to me, although I don't really keep my commitments to myself, I'm gonna go do these things that I wish were happening to me. And then what happens is, when it's not reciprocated, then you have some kind of issue. And the truth is that you weren't doing it from the proper heart posture in the first place. We often talk about keeping our word to other people, but how often do we break our commitments to ourselves? Oh, Listen, let me come down y'all fasting lane. I'm gonna come down y'all church faster lane. Every January, everybody's gonna be fast. Folks cheat on fasting all the time. And you think because don't nobody know you cheat and that it don't matter. It matters. You made a commitment. You told yourself you were gonna do a thing. And because you didn't tell nobody, because nobody see, you think that it don't matter. It absolutely matters. What you do when no one else is around, what you're doing when nobody can see you, it is what builds your integrity and your character. It's what makes you an integral person. You cannot say that you are a woman or a man of integrity if you lie to yourself when ain't nobody watching. You just deceiving yourself. And self-deception is the worst kind of deception. It is a betrayal. Self-betrayal is real. When you say I'm going to do this and you don't, you weaken your own confidence in yourself. Many people lack self-confidence because they have betrayed themselves so much they don't trust that they can actually do what they say they're going to do. If you always say you're going to do something and you don't do it, you think that's hurting other people. Baby, it's hurting you. It's hurting you worse because you know you. You're betraying you when you don't do what you said you were going to do. So now you lack confidence. You're not sure if you can do this. You're not sure if you really can commit. Why? Because you don't ever commit to you. Right? Tamika says, I break commitments often, then be mad with myself. And here's the thing. Like at some point, when do we stop? At some point, what is the point where we stop doing that? When is the point where we realize that we are hurting ourselves? You say you're gonna fast, you don't. You say you're gonna stop eating. Oh, how many times have we told ourselves, I ain't gonna eat no sugar? And yes, you are. I ain't gonna lay down never again doing this, and yes, you do. I'm gonna sit down and write 10 pages a day until I write this book, and by day 3, you done forgot what you're doing. I'm going to start journaling so I can be more introspective and self-reflective. You get it done for 3 days and a possible, and it's a wrap. I'm going to make sure that, at least once a month, I have a date night with my spouse. Listen, 3 months, by the 4th month, child, you tired and you at the house, and he understands. Does he understand? And even if he understands, you the one made the commitment. You the one said you was gonna do it. So even though he may understand, you're not just letting him down. You let yourself down, sis, because the reason that you made the commitment in the first place is because it's something that it's something you needed. If you say, me and my spouse need time for ourselves, so I'm going to commit that once a month we're going to go do something with just the two of us. We're not going to it's just going to be us. And then by month 4, you so tired, you so wore out, y'all just gonna stay at the house. You ain't gonna, it's the kids sitting around or whatnot. No, you know what? Oh, I think it'll be better if we do it. We always find a reason why. I just feel so bad leaving the kids. So no, what you did was you broke the commitment that you made to yourself to spend time with you and your spouse, and you came up with some reasons and some excuses to help you break the commitment. It's self-betrayal. Somebody got to tell you the truth. It's going to be me today. And I'm not telling you something that I think. I'm telling you what I know because I've done it too. I'm not telling y'all that I've never done these things. Absolutely. The reason I can be as forthcoming with you all, the reason I can talk to you all like this so passionately is because it's something I've had to deal with, something that I have to continuously work to overcome. And that is to keep my word to myself. Latoya said, nah, Heavy don't understand. Latoya said her husband don't understand. Tamika said, well, I feel like I just got a spanking. You know I love you. I'm telling you. I made a post on my page maybe yesterday or the day before where I'm like, there are you used to meeting women who one day they one way, right? And you think that they love the Lord and they live a certain way, and then you realize that this person is not telling the truth. There's so many people out here that are mentors and coaches and women of God and all the things. And then when you realize it, it's like one of these things is not like the other. These people is fake. And what I want you to know is that there's a remnant. There are some Titus 2 women in this world who are truly seeking after God's own heart and that God uses to help. And I'm telling you, I know I'm one of them. I'm not talking to you about what I think. I'm talking to you about what I know and what I live. And so, yes, sometimes these conversations are hard and sometimes it feels like you're getting a tongue lashing or something. But I promise you, it is for your good. Edification is not just about telling you things to make you feel good, but it is making sure that you have good information, corrected information, so that you can course correct and get on the right path. And if you are connected to people who are not willing to look you in the face and tell you the truth and say you lie to yourself, and every time you lie to yourself, you betray yourself. And every time you lie to yourself and betray yourself, you become less and less integral. You become less and less a woman of your word. You become less and less available for God to use you in places where you have to be committed. Some of you want to know why, why isn't this growing? Why isn't that growing? Why is it? Because the Lord can't trust you to commit. One thing I know about Speak Up Sis is that I'm committed. There are times, y'all, I be ready to quit. Now, I ain't on front. There are times I be like, Lord, just do something with it. Do something with them. Do something with it. I just want to go live in the middle of nowhere in a big house on some land and just get married, get old, and take care of my grandchildren. That's it. But the Lord knew. He knows that when he created me, that I would commit. And so it doesn't matter if things don't look the way I think they should look or ain't going the way I think they should go or whatever. I'm committed. I'm committed to feeding his daughters. So you may be wondering why, why isn't my community growing? Why don't people connect with me? Why? Maybe it's because you've broken so many commitments to yourself that you can't be trusted to commit to other people or to the Lord. Self-betrayal is real. Sit with that, sis. God takes your word seriously, and so should you. You know, the Bible says that we will be held accountable for every idle word. That in itself should make you slow down with your talking. That right there should make you just be like, hold on a second. Every idle word. We all must sit with that. God takes what we say seriously, especially when we enter into covenants, agreements, contracts, commitments with ourselves and with others and with him. If you cannot trust yourself, sis, listen, how can you expect others to trust you? I want you to sit with that. If you can't trust you, how do you expect other people to trust you? Why do you expect other people to trust you? And then the thought is, I know what the thought is because I've been there. It's just me, but I'm going to make sure I get it done for you. I know I haven't done this, but I promise I'm going to do it for you because I know this is important to you. You're important to me. So I'm going to make sure I make it happen for you. I know I didn't do it for myself, but I'm going to make sure I get it done for you so then you have to ask yourself, why aren't you as important to you as this person is? Why is it that you value what they need to get done more than you value what you need to get done? Why is that? That sounds like you need to sit down with yourself and the Lord and deal with whatever you got going on the inside. You understand? The other day, I had a client I built a website for. What would I look like building websites for other people and I ain't got none? Mine ain't finished. That don't even make no sense. What do I look like talking about I'm gonna help somebody write a book, publish a book, and I haven't written or published anything? What are we talking about here? How am I going to talk to you about committing to this fast if I don't even commit to no fast? How am I going to talk to you about how important it is? How, people? If you can't trust to keep your commitments to yourself, how can other people trust you? Or how can you expect other people to trust you? Mom, I think I got some pollen or something that flew my... Marcus, sleep over there? No, that's something about you. Bring me a bottle of water, please. I'm almost done. Y'all. What LaToya talking about? She's so silly. She said her husband buy her things to kind of give her a hint that, hey, it's time for us to go out. I think I have a bag of new clothes. It'd be something in there for him as a reminder, like we supposed to be going out. Listen, get them kids a babysitter and do what you're supposed to do. And I know you got fur babies, so get somebody come sit with them fur babies so that you can do what you need to do and stop playing. My brother say he trying to go out. He ain't trying to be in that house with them dogs all the time. LaToya talking about, is my mama cooking? She cleaning? Yeah, it look like she cleaning and cooking. She washing dishes and cooking. What you cooking, mama?
Grits, eggs, and sausage.
Yeah, she cooking grits, eggs, and sausage. Some stuff I can't have. I can have eggs and I can have sausage. I can't have the grits though. All right, so we're gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna quickly give you all 5 practical things that you can do to strengthen your self-commitment. The first one is make promises you can keep.
Amen.
Make promises you can keep. Don't overcommit or set unrealistic expectations for yourself. Right? Only make promises you can keep. This is something that LaToya said sounds good. I'm sure it is going to be good. One thing that I learned about my sons kind of too late. I can be honest and say it was too late because I didn't do this their whole lives. I didn't start doing this till later in life. But I would just to get them to be quiet. I would be like, okay, I'm gonna take y'all. Like, I'm gonna take y'all to the park. I'm gonna take you to the park. I would promise to take them to the park or take them somewhere. And then I would probably forget because it wasn't something that I was planning to do right away. It's not like I wasn't gonna do it, but I probably would take them to the park in a couple weeks or something. But baby, them jokers would come up the next day. Mamas, we going to the park. Mamas, we going to the park. The next day, we going to the park. Mom, when you taking us to the park? You said you taking us to the park. Mom, you taking us to the park. I made a promise that at the time I overcommitted myself because I knew I had other things to do. I just was like, I'm gonna make them this promise just so that they know I'm gonna take them, but like I ain't got time to take them right now. And guess what happened, y'all? That broke something in my children when it came to me telling them stuff. They eventually got to a point where they were like, she ain't gonna take us. So what I had to learn,
Mom tell lies.
right? Then they would say, "Mama tell lies, Mama lied." And when you hear your child say that you lied, that'll cut you. So what I had to learn to do was to not tell them I was gonna do any. I couldn't tell them I was gonna do. I couldn't say I'm gonna take you to the park. I could only say we get ready to go to the park when I know we go like get your stuff, get in the truck, we going to the park. I could only make commitments that I knew we getting ready to do. I could not make my children promises. Once you hear them start telling you like mom lying, she ain't gonna do it. Listen, that thing mess with your soul.
Sure do.
Latoya talking about here come the homework. Yes. Make promises that you can keep. Or better yet, don't even make promises.
Amen.
Do what you gonna do.
Don't promise them nothing.
Just do what you gonna do. You ain't got to make no promise. Don't promise about what you gonna do. Just do what you gonna do when you gonna do it.
Amen.
That'll help you keep from overcommitting. The second thing, write it down. When you put your commitments in writing, they hold more weight. And I'm gonna tell you that is the truth. When I make a list of things and I put it as okay, these are things I'm gonna do, and I'm looking at that every day, I'm like, oh gosh, I need to get this done. I gotta get this done because it's in my face. These are just some practical ways to help you strengthen your self-commitment. Anytime you keep it up here, 9 out of 10 times you ain't gonna do it. When it stay in your mind. I always tell people writing makes things real. When you write it down, it becomes real. That's why a lot of people don't want to write. A lot of people don't want to write stuff because when you write it, it makes it real. A lot of authors will tell you that a lot of the things they write, it becomes real when they write it down. So that's why people don't want to write. The third thing that you can do to help you keep commitments to yourself is to follow through with it, even if it makes you feel uncomfortable. Follow through even when it makes you feel uncomfortable. If you say you're gonna do something just because you feel a little uncomfortable, just because you get like, listen, discipline is what builds trust with yourself. Yesterday, I was having a hard time yesterday, wasn't I, mama? I was having a hard time with what? What I wanted yesterday. All the way to bedtime. Y'all hear my mama? What I wanted, mama?
Sundays.
I had a hard time yesterday with cookies. I wanted cookies. From the time I woke up to the time I went to sleep, I wanted to eat cookies. The chocolate chip chewy cookies. I wanted cookies. But me and my wellness buddy decided we were going to start our 40-day wellness journey on yesterday. And one of the things that I'm not eating sweets. I'm not eating cookie and cake and pies and, things like that with added sugars and all those kind of things, right? All day long, y'all, I wanted cookies. The whole day I was so cantankerous by the end of the day. I was just fussy because I wanted to eat cookies. And it made me very uncomfortable to not eat them. I had to get Tylenol last night for a headache because when you stop eating sugar, cold turkey, it's going, you're probably gonna get headaches. So I end up with a little bitty headache last night, and I knew, and in my soul, I just knew that this headache would go away if I eat a cookie. I was uncomfortable, but guess what? Disciplining myself is what builds trust in myself. Me saying, no, you're not gonna eat no cookie. No. You know what I'm saying? I have to discipline myself so that I know. And the more and more I tell myself, no, you're not going to eat that, right? I build a trust within myself to know that I'm good. So when it's time for me, so let's say in another week or two or whatever, let's say I go somewhere, I go out to an event or something like that, and they got cookies because I have disciplined myself when it was uncomfortable for me. Then by the time I got to stand in a room with people eating cookies, I'm going to trust that I'm not going to touch them cookies. Why? I have disciplined myself enough to build a confidence and an assurance that I can sit in this room and see y'all eating them cookies and not touch none of them.
Man.
Understand? Seek accountability. This is the fourth tip that I want to give you. Some of y'all don't like accountability. You got to seek out accountability. Surround yourself with people who will remind you of your word. Let me just say, my guy, I was telling my mama, they be laughing at me sometimes. But when it comes to this working out and stuff, he say little things, y'all, that remind me of what I said to myself. You be like, did you get up and go work out? No, he'll say, did you get on the scale? Y'all, I'll be ready to throw my phone. Did you get on this? He said, when the last time you got on the scale? Mind your business. Mind the business that pay you, because me and that scale is not paying you at all. That's what I be wanting to say. But it's accountability, because I have said, like, keep me accountable. When you see me doing stuff I ain't got no business doing, say something. I tell my mom and them, like, if y'all see me put that cookie in my mouth, slap it out my hand. Slap it out my hand. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be mad when you do it, but do it anyway. I be like, if you see me doing it, like, you gotta step up and be like, no, don't do that. Like, you said you wasn't doing that. Is you lying? Like, I do not mind people dragging me on the carpet with my own words. Now, I'm gonna be honest. In the moment, I don't want to hear what they're saying. That's the reason you have accountability, is because in the moment, you're about to let the commitment go. You're about to betray yourself. You're about to do exactly what you said you weren't going to do, right? Or you're not going to do what you said you would do. Whatever it is, in that moment when you're getting ready to betray yourself, when you have accountability, when you have people who are like, I don't care if you get mad with me, you a liar because you said. When you got people who will do that to you, it's helpful, because to hear it, it hurts. And now you're going to be mad. Who you calling a liar? You. I guess you like being 210 pounds because you eating cookies. I thought you was trying to get under 200 pounds, but I guess you like being a heavyweight because you eating cookies. Am I going to be upset with that? Absolutely. But what can I do? Am I going to punch you in the face? No, I'm not. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to do anything to hurt you. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be mad, and I'm going to put the cookie down. And I'm going to go in the room and go to sleep or something. You know what I'm saying? Accountability is important. Surround yourself with people who will remind you of your word, of what you said to you. A lot of you don't want to tell you, be like, I'm operating in secret. You operating in secret so that you can quit in secret. I'm not saying you got to get out in public and tell the world. I'm saying you should have some people that you are accountable to. And then the fifth thing that you can do to help keep commitments to yourself is to learn from your past mistakes, right? If you're breaking commitments to yourself before, acknowledge it and grow from it. Remind yourself of what it felt like to tell that lie to yourself. This was a big thing. Before I became really solid with fasting, and y'all know, I had fasted for 40 days, for 21 days, for 3 days, for 1 day, intermittent fasting, alternate day fasting. Like, right at this point, I'm a fasting pro. But before I got to this point, y'all, I could not keep a fast. I did not like to do them church fasts because I was always going to break them. Every time you say, hey, when they had the corporate fast, and then we get to church, and then they be talking about it, and I would know that, child, I done ate whatever I wanted to eat yesterday. Now I find myself sitting in the group having to, even though I'm not agreeing with, like, I'm not saying to the people, oh yeah, I'm not lying, but I'm not saying anything, which has me sitting in this place of lying. Because these people think that I'm in agreement with them. They think that I'm in covenant with them. and I'm not doing the things that they say that they're doing and that I said I would do. The feeling that you get, that feeling of guilt and shame and self-condemnation that comes over you when you know that you didn't do what you said you were going to do, like that's a terrible feeling. I don't know about y'all, but I don't like feeling that way. So you can learn from your past mistakes. Think about the times that you entered into commitment with yourself when you said you would do something and you didn't. I want you to think about the feeling you got. Think about the hurt that happened. Think about the disappointment on the people's faces, right? Think about the disappointment to yourself. Acknowledge that, feel that, and then grow from it and don't do it again. Don't do it again. Understand. It's important for y'all to understand, for me to understand, for all of us to understand that agreements are serious. Agreements are serious, whether we make an agreement with God, whether we make agreements with other people, whether we make agreements with ourselves. We must be mindful of what we commit to. Make sure that you are seeking wisdom from God, wisdom from mentors, wisdom from your accountability partners before you make agreements, right? And then you've got to honor your own word. Honor your word to you as much as you honor your word and your commitment that you've given to other people. All right. So I am done for the day. I appreciate those of you who came in. If this 11 a.m. talk has blessed you, if it has been valuable to you, if it has been helpful, I encourage you to share it with someone who needs to hear it, right? It's time for us to work together to build community. Let's build community that honors the word and that honors our word. And we can do that by keeping our word to ourselves and to the Lord and to each other. So I thank you all for coming into this space today, spending some time with me. Pray that it has been helpful. I'm sending you all, listen, we're going to go out with a bang. Let's see if we get it. There it is. We're going out with a bang today. I bless the Lord. I love y'all with the love of Christ. There's absolutely nothing that you can do about it. Until tomorrow, y'all take care. Don't forget March 30th. We have 5 days. Hey, Latanya, how you doing? We have 5 days remaining, y'all. If you have not nominated a deserving woman for the 3rd annual Speak Up Sis Awards, you have until March 30th to submit your nomination. So go to speakupsismagazine.com, go to the menu section of Speak Up Sis Magazine and click on Speak Up Sis Awards, and you will be able to get access to the nomination form. Again, in order to nominate a woman for the Speak Up Sis Awards, you want to go to speakupsismagazine.com, go to the menu, and then click on Speak Up Sis Awards. And from there, you will be able to nominate a woman for the Speak Up Sis Awards. You have 5 days remaining for nominations. On March 30th at 12 noon, we are going to close nominations for the 3rd annual Speak Up Sis Awards. So I welcome you to go nominate a woman today. Y'all take care.